mean, I think first and foremost, I would like to say, I think our people in diaspora should learn something from the foreign investors who invest here.
Okay.
And I like saying, invest like a Mzungu, invest like a white man.
Yes.
And what do I mean by that? What does a white man do when they're investing in Africa? The first thing that they do so well is due diligence.
True.
Proper due diligence.
Yes.
I've had the privilege of dealing with some of the most coveted foreign investors in the world. I've been to my office many times. Some of them have been my clients. And one of the things that I have learned is just the rigor of their due diligence. I remember one client who said when they were happy with everything, and it was our first day of starting to invest for them, guess what they did? They sent us $1. They sent us $1. And you know what that $1 was supposed to do? To test the process, that they can actually send hundreds of millions of shillings or a couple of billions of shillings, and that money will get to us separately.
Wow.
So you don't test with a billion shilling. Yes. You test with $1. Amazing. And that is part of due diligence. To give you other experiences I've had, some of them have come and they've told me, Piers, I like your story. I believe in your story. But now I need to hear if your story collaborates with everybody else in your office. And they say, now step aside. I want to have one-on-one meeting with all your staff. And they would sit and hear it out from each of my staff individually. And they see, was a story that Piers told me, does it collaborate with everybody else? And only then will they say, I trust this man. Many stories. And the other things, I've also done a lot of due diligence myself when I'm investing, especially when I'm investing outside of the country, because that's one of the things that we're really well known for, investing in Africa. And there's this bank that I was targeting to invest in Ghana. It took me 2 years before I finally put my first coin.
Wow, that is long.
2 years.
It's a long due diligence.
I spent weeks and weeks going there. There's one particular period I was holed up in one room for 2 weeks, and I was just reviewing documents, contracts, everything, the business case, strategy, before I finally said, I'm happy with this. And do you know what made the difference for me? It was, I had gone for lunch during that period. And when I was coming back, I took a cab. And I asked the cab guy, what do you think about this bank? And whatever that cab guy told me is what made everything to fall into perspective.
Why?
So because due diligence, you don't just due diligence the company that you invest, you due diligence everybody, the community, everybody. That's what I call due diligence. Eventually, I came here, I told my board, this is what this company is. When you think about this bank, think about this is the equivalent bank in Kenya.
Wow.
Then you will have a better perspective of what you do. And you put in a lot of money, and we made a lot of money.
Wow.
A lot of money.
Congratulations.
So
have you
invest like a Mzungu.
Have you lost any money?
Yes, I have lost money. I've lost money. I mean, any investor who tells you they've never lost money, you should think twice. That story is too good to be true. Investment is about the future.
Yes.
And the problem about the future is that nobody has an accurate prediction of the future.
Yes.
Unless you're a prophet, which I don't claim to be. So I remember one morning I just parked my car and I was walking to the office. And you have these people who sell newspapers on the roadside.
Yes.
And I decided to peep on the headlines. And I saw this big headline saying, Airtel slashes tariffs by 67%. I was so heavily invested in Safaricom. And here is a competitor, the second largest, who just slashed tariff by 67%. It's an onslaught on the company that I was investing in. Of course, Safaricom had to make a quick response, and they reduced their tariffs significantly, which means money moved from shareholders to customers in one day, in a matter of hours. I went to the office. I called my group CEO. I told him, you know what? We're having a tough day. He asked me, what do you recommend? I told him, I recommend we exit at whatever price. And I started selling from 5 shillings and 60 cents per share. Eventually, I sold everything at 4 shillings per share. I lost $1.6 million. But I had to make a difficult call, because investment is about making a difficult call. And I took the balance of the money and I invested somewhere else, and we made up the money. And that's one of the best lessons I've ever learned. Just know when to call it quits. I know we have this saying, you know, never quit. But you've got to say now this one is beyond me. If you want to salvage something, live to fight another day. Yeah. So invest like a Mzungu. First thing Mzungu does is proper due diligence. Never takes anything, even if you are his relative, he will assume he doesn't know you. Do proper due diligence.